Hey guys, let's talk about I Can Only Imagine 2. There's 2 now. Hey guys, welcome here. Welcome here. Back at the desk again, doing another review. So, yeah. I haven't done a review since Iron Lung. Second review of 2026. Not a lot of movies, I've seen in the last 2 months in the theater, but I got the chance to go see this one just a day or two ago. I don't know if this mic is close enough. Hold on a second. Okay. Is that good? Oh, sad inside out, living la vida loca. She push and pull you down, living la vida loca. Sorry. Yeah, I think my mic's good now. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. So yeah, I Can Only Imagine 2. I remember seeing the first one in theater when it came out in 2018. This is before I was in anything film, from what I remember. I did my amateur projects on my own, but at the time I really wasn't into film professionally, and that's when I saw the first movie. I was like 15, almost 16 when I saw the first one, but they made a second one. I heard in 2024, end of 2024, that they were greenlighting a second I Can Only Imagine film because there was more to the story apparently. So I'm like, okay, I'll give this the benefit of the doubt because the first movie was really good. It's one of my favorite movies, I guess, in the faith-based square, even though I don't think faith-based should really have a genre. I think it just should be a subtextual topic covered in the genre system it's already set up. But Kingdom Story Company does make a lot of great films. I mean, they gave us Jesus Revolution. They gave us other movies about other artists. They gave us American Underdog. They gave us Mom's Night Out, which is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. You can disagree on that. I don't give a crap, but I thought it was funny. I loved watching that movie, and they made a couple other big hits too. But Kingdom Story Company always has that essence of quality that they bring to their films and retelling stories by people who actually exist. And so I appreciate Kingdom Story Company for like kind of niching their stuff in that direction. There are spoilers up ahead, so watch out. But yeah, I Can Only Imagine 2. It kind of, I wouldn't say it picks up right where the last one left off, but we kind of get plunged into seeing Mercy Me kind of like in their successful peak of their career tour that they're going on. Bart and the band are traveling all over the country now, playing shows. Bart has kids now, and he's married to Shannon. They recast Shannon for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And so then Bart is suddenly called away from his tour when he finds out his son is admitted to the hospital after not waking up. Come to find out, his son has type 1 diabetes. And that sort of launches us into this story of, Bart having this success with the band, but also having to take care of his son who has this condition. And so we kind of speed ahead into the future, like 10 years into the future. I think 2014 is like when this movie kind of has a majority of its plot taking place. And so the last 10 years for Bart and Shannon had kind of been a battle just while raising the rest of their family, taking care of Sam, their son who has type 1 diabetes, and just trying to keep him alive and keep him healthy. While at the same time, while that seems to be like, the mission that Bart is mainly focusing on, he does lose a lot of, I guess, how do I say this? Communication with his son and just finding out just both of them finding out who each other are. And kind of get to knowing each other on a father and son basis and just exploring that relationship. It seems to have been kind of closed off in the battle to keep Sam alive. So we see a little bit of friction between Bart and Sam as Bart's trying to take care of him, keep him alive, and that seems to be the only thing he's caring about. Then we're introduced to this character known as Tim Timmons. He's another singer, kind of up and coming, dreaming of touring like Mercy Me, used to dream of that. And he gets called in as an opener for Mercy Me's tour. They have people backing out of their tour, and so Mercy Me becomes the headliner for the tour that they're on, and Tim steps in to be their opener. And Tim, you come across him, he's one of my favorite characters in this movie, by the way. I think it's also due to the fact that Milo Ventimiglia is playing him. Milo Ventimiglia is just a good actor. I loved him in Heroes. I loved him in a lot of other stuff. He played Rocky's son in Rocky Balboa, and that is like has one of the most inspirational clips of all time, in my opinion, when Rocky is kind of giving him like the man up speech, saying like, go out and make your own shadow. Stop defining yourself by like, you know, how other people see you. It was that whole speech. I'm paraphrasing. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I've seen that clip travel around so much. But back to the movie. He plays Tim Timmons, and so Tim meets the band, he gets to know the band, and they're set to go on tour together, and at the same time Bart's still kind of worrying about his son, worrying about how things will go, you know, him leaving home and Shannon having to deal with all the kids and whatnot. So comes down to it, they kind of decide to bring Sam on the tour with them, and Sam kind of grows this close bond with Tim. So the band goes on tour, Tim opens for them, they learn to get along with Tim and kind of, you know, figure out what their balance is for how they go on stage and work together. It's really good up to this point. I think they paced out the beats of this story pretty well. I think all that is like really good. And of course, you know, you get to the more dilemmas that arise, like Bart having to deal with his son being in the hospital again after not taking his insulin like he's supposed to. I think it was a really cool pivotal moment when Bart has that confrontation with Tim, and he's like, you have no idea what I'm going through. You have no idea what it's like, you know, being a father and whatnot. And then he's like, you don't know the struggle that I'm going through. You have no idea what it's like. And Tim hits him with like the I have cancer. I think that really like got me. I was not expecting that. I knew nothing about this story, and so that just kind of surprised me. I'm like, whoa, this guy is like super grateful for everything in his life. He's always drawing this X on his arm to remind him of what he's grateful that God has given him for, and he comes out and says that he's doing all this, he's grateful for every moment, and it gives you a whole perspective on like, you know, Tim's life. Like, he has this cancer and he's still fighting through these struggles. He's still appreciating every moment of life because he doesn't know how long he has left. I think that really started shaping the story and like sending it in a different direction. And I think that was just one of my favorite moments. I think Tim Timmons' character is one of my favorite things about this movie. All around, this movie is like, it's a pretty good movie. Like, it's beat it out pretty well. It's not bad for a sequel. My only shtick is that it's kind of similar to every other film in this, you know, type of media out there. Did this film need a sequel? I guess that's not up to me to decide. I mean, it's making them money. Honestly, it's also really about the money. Is Lionsgate going to make money off this? And that's why they greenlit it. But it's kind of like every other faith-based film out there. I mean, there's powerful moments in the film, but it's kind of like everything else. It's kind of still attracting that, you know, middle-aged mom, homeschool mom, just the whole middle-aged women demographic audience to the theater. And it's not bad. I mean, you make money that way too. I don't know how this film's really doing with money. Probably not as good as the first film, because sequels don't usually generate more than the first film, but it's always hitting that demographic usually with films like these. It's not bad, it makes money, but I think this film is better intended for a kind of father-son audience, and it's sad to see that that's not the demographic that's showing up. But that's my only shtick with it. Other than that, it is a pretty solid movie. If you want to give it a watch, it's a really good father and son story, and just like father and son relationship type story. I think we need a lot more of that. I wish it'd be told in like, you know, much broader ways. I love the blockbuster genre, obviously. I'd love to see more father and son blockbuster, but you know, this is a good father and son relationship type story, and I think a lot of fathers and their sons out there could relate to this movie and like, you know, have something cool to bring home from it. I think another thing that stuck out to me about this movie is like, you know, how much parents go through to fight for their kids to stay alive. I know mine, when we were younger, we had a lot of, you know, issues going on when we were born. From issues like me being sick for the first 2 years of my life and my parents having to keep me alive. I know that had to strike them in some way. They were sitting right next to me when I watched this. My older brother having like a rotavirus or something when he was born too. And my younger brother being deaf when he was born. He can hear now, by the grace of God, he can hear now. There's a miraculous story, maybe I'll tell it sometime, but I can see where a lot of these, you know, situations in this movie, that a lot of people can relate to them. And I think another great thing to take from this movie is how much parents have to go through when raising their kids, and how no one completely understands fatherhood, like from the moment their child is born to the moment that they take off on their own as an adult. no father truly understands what fatherhood is like, or gets like, you know, the right way to do it. And I think that film explores this in a really good way. So there are a lot of good things about this film. Is it like every other one in this like similar space? Yeah, but there are a lot of good things you can take from this film. Those are my thoughts, and I can only imagine too. Let me know what you thought about it down below if you saw it. If you haven't saw it yet, if you haven't seen it yet and you watched this video and you got the spoilers, shame on you, but go watch it. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. But yeah, God bless. Thanks for watching.